It is time to ask the fight guys. Use that hashtag, whether you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter, you're in the comment section. If you're watching it live, use the hashtag. We will see it, we will recognize it, and we will jump into get into your questions. So the first one that we're going to do here, we had some really good ones this time. Really good ones. The first one is UFC related, and it comes from our main man, Sean Singletary. He has been one of our most consistent viewers, and definitely want to shout him out as well.
And always in the chat. I'm sure he's watching me right now. Absolutely.
Give a shout out to Ness Mendoza as well, BK, Think Cap, everybody who shows up regularly for the show. We really appreciate.
Love those guys. Nick.
Yes, Nick as well.
Yep.
Yes, we appreciate you. So he says, what do you make of the heavyweight title picture with Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier, and Francis Ngannou? How would you approach untangling it? So right now there is quite the interesting three-way situation here with the heavyweight division. I think everybody in their right mind knows that Francis Ngannou has done way more than enough to earn a second shot at Stipe Miocic or whoever has the title at the time. But we have a situation where, honestly, I'm going to tell you something right now.
Tell me.
Daniel Cormier, I love Dan. Daniel Cormier is one of my favorite athletes, period. One of my favorite fighters of all time. But Daniel Cormier is to blame for this. And I'm going to tell you why he's to blame.
Tell us why. I'm like your hype man now.
No reason why Daniel should not have beaten Stipe Miocic in the rematch.
Okay.
Daniel, I still to this day don't understand what Dan was thinking in this fight. I don't. Daniel Cormier could have beaten Stipe Miocic just as easy, if not easier, in the rematch than he did the first time. But for whatever reason, he came out there with this thought process of, I'm going to win this fight striking. I'm going to take these shots. It doesn't matter. And ultimately, I can't.
How is Cormier?
I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I was yelling at the screen at the time when he was doing it. And even his corner was yelling at him. They're like, Dan, take him down. And he had this like locked in gaze.
How old is
he? He's 40. He's 41, I think now. Okay. And I'm like, and so he comes and sits down. He says, I know what I should have did. I know.
Right.
And I'm like, what did you not? Why did you do this? Why did you take an L? Like, at this point in your career, the only person who ever legitimately beat you was John Jones. And
maybe those physical reasons. Who knows? And I don't know.
I really don't think it was. I think it was a lot of times, and I see this more in mixed martial arts than I see it in boxing.
Right.
I see fighters get a concept in their head
that
they want to prove a point. They want to win a certain way. And they end up putting themselves I did see it with Terence Crawford, because I really truly believe he did that with Kowalskis. But they get a concept in their head where they're going to win a certain way, and they and I also saw it with Tim Bradley, so maybe I do see it more, because Tim Bradley with Ruslan Provodnikov did not have to take those shots, and this was a very similar situation. I don't think that Cormier needed to get into that kind of fight. So I say that to say, if he beats Miocic in the rematch the same way he beat him the first time, then now Miocic is not even in this conversation, and the only fight to make is Ngannou Cormier. If Cormier hasn't already walked away. Right. So, because I believe if Cormier had beaten Miocic, he probably would have just retired. Okay. The only way he would have fought Ngannou is because Ngannou knocked out his best friend, Cain Velasquez. I sound like I'm saying a WWE storyline, but it is. And so I think a part of him wants a piece of Ngannou after that. Okay. But so that's the thing. So at this point now, you have to have the third fight with Cormier Miocic, and then Ngannou has to fight the winner of that fight, because
that's a great storyline right there.
Yeah. I think the thing of it is the question here is, what does Ngannou do? Because Ngannou just fought Saturday. And obviously he only worked 20 seconds because he knocked out Jairzinho Rosenstrike in 20 seconds.
Relax.
So the question is, what does he do in between now? Does he have another fight? Does he? Because here's the thing. Now he risks not being sharp, because not only did you have a fight that kept getting pushed back for UFC 249, because that fight with Rosenstrike was set for months, and it kept getting pushed back because of COVID-19. So then when he actually gets in the octagon, he only works 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So does it benefit him to sit idle and wait on Miocic Cormier? Because that fight's not even signed yet.
Look, activity is a fighter's best friend.
Yes.
For many reasons, timing, staying close to fight weight, all sorts of things, mentally being busy. But recovery is also good. A lot of guys don't have to necessarily recover from fights. Some of them have to recover from the preparation.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna
full camp.
He got to recover his knuckles because he just 20 seconds. That's the only thing that got worked for Ngannou.
I understand, but he still probably went through a camp and the whole bit. And I get it. Look, it's not perfect right now. Mm-hmm. Nothing's perfect right now. In a perfect world, in a traditional environment, we'd see the third fight. We would then have a fight for that. I mean, but right now things are moving in a different pace. Mm-hmm. And the UFC also has to at some point consider the money they're losing in live gate that helps compensate some of these shows. So they can't necessarily be, shooting their load on these big shows without being able to take advantage of 18,000 people at the MGM Grand or the T-Mobile Arena.
I think they're in a better position though than boxing because their fighters are already conditioned to being underpaid.
Whole different topic, my friend.
I really feel that's the case because they're already paying guys pennies. Like I mentioned with Jacare. Jacare said I needed to fight because I needed the money. Now, unless Jacare's just been throwing all his money out of the window, he's got a bunch of bad investments. The fact that a person that's accomplished as him is in that position, unless it's like I said, horrible investment, is probably an indication that he hasn't been properly compensated. But like you said, whole different topic. My answer to Sean Singletary's question is, if I'm Ngannou, I don't fight another guy until I get a title shot. There's no reason for me to. I've already done it.
You're right. Because you're going to go through another camp.
Right. And
it's going to last 20 seconds or a minute, 2 minutes.
And it's still heavyweight. So
anything could happen.
Anything can still happen.
You get injured. You get injured.
Same, exactly.
You could break a hand knocking a guy out.
So I'm not fighting another person until I get my title shot and the money and the pay-per-view points that come with headlining that card, which I know I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and take the stress away. Take the stress away of this whole COVID-19 situation. Maybe we get further distanced away from that too, where you can have a traditional training camp and mentally things are different. So
and he's frustrated though, and he mentioned that. He shared that right after the fight. He even said a word that you don't often hear in post-fight interviews on the UFC, and they kind of hurried him along. But he said the word contract, which is, they don't really want you saying that, talking about the end of your contract in a post-fight interview. And they really did kind of hurry him along when he mentioned that, because that lets you know it's on his mind. Maybe, Bellator would love to have me.
Right.
And they'll pay stupid, ridiculous money because I'm Francis Ngannou, and I'll walk right into a title shot.